Hey everyone, it's Friday Extra. I'm coming to you from this comfy couch in my sunroom where I like to watch television because today I'm going to talk about some exercises we can do during the commercial breaks of our favorite show. On average, if you're watching a 1 hour show, there's 15 minutes of advertising sprinkled throughout that hour. Most commercial breaks are 2.5 to 3 minutes, and each of those is about 30 seconds. So we're getting probably about 5 ads in each of those 5 breaks that we're going to take in that hour-long show. So I'm just going to give you some ideas of some different things that you can do during those ad breaks. You can choose to come up with a different move each time it changes to another commercial. You can choose one move and try to do it for the duration of that 2.5 to 3 minutes of advertising. Totally up to you. But just to give you an idea, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a set of 5, doing each for about 30 seconds, just so you get a feel for how that goes. And then I'm going to give you some other ideas of things that you could incorporate into that time. So just because I'm not going to turn my TV on and wait for a commercial break, I'm going to actually use a timer to go through. So for this set of 5, what I'm going to do is for that, what would be the first 30 seconds or the first ad, I'm going to march in place. For the second ad, I'm going to do sit to stands. If you're a regular attender to our sail exercise class, you know that we do those for about 30 seconds in the course of that class anyway. And then I'm going to do an arm exercise, and then I'm going to do another seated. I'm going to do some toe taps forward, and then I'm going to stand and I'm going to do some step touches standing. So varying if I'm standing, sitting, varying doing something with my arms and something with my legs. So again, these are just examples of a way that you might use those ad breaks. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, for this first ad, I'm going to be just marching in place. If you sit up nice and tall and not use back for support, that's going to work your core muscles a little bit harder. How hard you march, how fast you march, if you pump your arms, that's completely up to you. You do it at whatever level is good for you. You don't have to use your arms, you can just use your feet. You can really do a slower march and really lift those knees up higher and pump your arms. You'll notice that that gets that heart pumping. All right, so my second ad, my first ad's done, my second ad comes up. I'm gonna do a sit to stand. Remember, sitting down and hinging at the hip each time. So I'm up, down, hinge, back up, down, hinge. So again, this is something we typically do in our sail class. And when I'm training leaders, I always tell them it's 30 seconds, so you kind of time how many you know you can do in that amount of time. So for my third thing, I'm going to do something with my arms. Again, you're going to adjust depending upon your shoulders, but we're going to stretch by squeezing our shoulder blades back and then come forward and back and forward. Squeeze back, squeeze back, and again, really watch if you have shoulder issues. You might have to not raise your arms so tall. You adjust to what is good for you. Back and forward. Squeeze and forward. Squeeze. So this is really more of a kind of a stretch. It's not as much of a strengthening exercise as some of the other things that I'm doing. All right, we're on to commercial number 4, and I'm just gonna do toe taps forward. Tap and tap. Back and forth. If it's me, you know, I'm always listening to the beat of the music that's in the background of whatever that commercial might be. Very often they're using music. And so, you know, I'm tapping along to the beat of the music that's in the commercial usually. You don't have to do it that way. And again, fast, slow, whatever works for you. We're on to our 5th commercial. So I'm gonna stand up and I'm just gonna step touch side to side. And again, if there's music on in the commercial, you can kind of dance back and forth to the tune, or you can just be doing step. If you really want wide stance to work a little harder, you can make that step touch a much wider one. Always varying depending upon what's best for you. So that took me through a 3-minute commercial break just by alternating 5 different things. So again, whether or not you're gonna alternate every time a new commercial comes on, whether you wanna do one thing, you could march in place for the entire set of that 2.5 to 3 minutes. Anything you do other than sitting is a good thing for your body. We're not trying to be like high aerobics. Again, it's just, instead of sitting for an entire hour, it's a way to get your body moving. Some other things you might consider doing: rowing. So reaching forward and pulling back. Really thinking about using that core. Again, really think that you're pulling seriously with water in the way of those oars. Or another thing you might do with your arms is punching. We have lots of our aerobic routines in sail that we do that punch. When you do this, think of literally punching something and stopping, not just limp noodles going side to side. Think of really punching, punch. Isometric, in other words, I'm really tightening that muscle as if I'm really doing a punching bag. Some other thing I might do sitting is I can pretend to do a jumping jack, but do it from a seated position. So I'm up and out. Now you could do that with just your feet. You could do it with just your arms. You can put it all together and do some jumping jacks. All right. Other thing we might do, if we can do with our hands, we can squeeze, open, and twist. Squeeze, open, twist. Squeeze, open, twist. So again, good for our hands, good for our wrists. Standing up, I might, instead of doing those step touches, I could do toe touches forward, 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 forward. I could also do toe touches out, out, and touch out. I could do a whole set standing for that set of commercials where I'm gonna go out or forward and then change and go back. So every time a new commercial comes on, I might switch the position that I'm touching. Another thing standing we could do is bringing that heel up and back. Oh, there goes my slipper. I kicked my couch, trying to fit everything into my camera sphere here. So that's another thing. Another seated, even just twisting our feet and our body opposite direction for a couple of minutes. Our heels going out, heel, heel, alternate heel. You can even lean into it if you wanna do a little bit more than just your feet. You add whatever is good for you. We might raise our knees up and down, touching hands. If you wanna do an opposite, like we do sometimes in aerobic, again, using that brain for the opposite hand to the opposite knee. Reaching up, I can reach up and out, or alternate with a twist. Reach over and down, and twist, down, twist, down. There's really a lot of variety and things that you could be doing and using those, again, 2.5 to 3 minutes at a time, 15 minutes in an hour-long show that's gonna add some workout, a little bit of aerobic, getting that heart going. Any type of movement you do, again, is better than that sitting. So, hope that this has been helpful for you and that you do a little bit more moving while you're watching those ads. Thanks for joining me.